You're listening to Level Up Your Business, the podcast where we talk to hardworking business owners and leaders and help them solve real issues in real time. I'm your host, Sara Frasca, restaurant owner, keynote speaker, and business coach. I've spent my career not only in corporate America, but also as an entrepreneur, carrying on my family's legacy through my restaurant. Now, a business coach and consultant, I'm helping other businesses to use creative problem solving and innovative thinking to drive lasting change. Stay tuned to hear some inspiring guidance that will help you to level up your business. All right, well, let's get going. David, thank you so much for being on our show today. Mike and I are super excited to chat with you. So thank you for taking time out of your day.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah.
Mike, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, I'm good. I'm always excited to see if we can't help another entrepreneur, another business leader. So let's dive in.
Yes.
David, I know you really well because I get to see you a couple or 3 times a week. Thank you. I should do this as I'm saying that, because then people will know our relationship. So David is the founder of Mind Body Empire and is my personal trainer. And, we've been working together for quite a while now. I just admire your work so much, but tell everybody about your background.
So my name is Davidson Silva. I'm originally from Brazil, and I have been here now in the United States for about 22 years now. And back in 2013, I launched with the company, My Body Empire. It was always my passion. I grew up into mixed martial arts, being in the military for several years as well. And I grew into the fitness industry as a young kid. Always played soccer, all kinds of sports, did judo, grew up into jiu-jitsu. Later on in my life, I just felt, okay, this is my path. I have to do something about this passion that I have for fitness and for sports. And that's when I started diving and putting my focus into, becoming a personal trainer. I did sports science in Brazil. That's my background as far as the school. Did the sports science. I had a little bit of background in physical therapy as well. When I moved to the States, I just kind of continued diving into more researching and science and sports. And 22 years later, there we are. We are here with Mind Body Empire and helping all kinds, level of athletes, clients, entrepreneurs, working with a lot of athletes for competitions, just weight loss, and that is several areas, that I'm having clients right now.
Mm-hmm. Mike didn't know I was training to be a bodybuilder.
I did not.
No, I'm just kidding. Maybe only because I think this adds to the credibility. You obviously, David, but maybe this is TMI for everyone, but I had back surgery. I had a very kind of minor back surgery because of my gymnastics days and had an injury. And I was doing the surgery and the physical therapy at the Mayo Clinic here in Jacksonville. And I said, I'd really like to take up with someone that can help me get stronger and stay fit and all of those sorts of things, but also is very attuned to keeping me safe, because I literally, at the time you and I started working together, I couldn't move without hurting. And so anyway, fast forward, I feel stronger than ever, fitter than ever. I feel like the number one thing that is like the most important thing is that I am not in pain anymore. So that's like, awesome. I know. So that is my kind of, PSA to the world. Like, you have done wonders for keeping me out of pain. Yeah. Chronic pain is no fun. So, all right, Mike and I both having kind of big corporate experience as well as kind of, entrepreneurial startup experience. We are helping business owners and business leaders to transform their businesses simply by trying to give them some ideas of whatever is keeping them up at night. So that's the question that I told you, and Mike and I don't know the answer of what you're going to say, so I'm excited. But what is keeping you up at night? What can we dive in and help you solve in the moment today?
I mean, I could go all over with that question, but mainly I always think every night, one day after the other, when I wake up in the morning or even when I go to sleep, I always ask myself, how can I serve better? How can I spend the amount of services, not just for the growth of the company, but also to help more people? In the end of the day, when it comes to health, longevity, how we feel day by day, example, you had your own experience from the beginning until now, how you felt before and now. So I work with a lot of people that usually come from chronic pain, that has pain 24/7, and it's so grateful and rewarding when you can actually work with somebody few months down the line and the person is a totally different scenario, that you see the person is happy, I can move, I can run, I can wake up, I no feel pain, I have good vitality, and it's a joy to me to be able to, one, put my passion into practice every day. Every day when I wake up in the morning, it's how many people I'll be able to serve today. The second thing is, it becomes most 98%, if not 100% of my clients, it becomes family to me, because it's people that literally, they call me every day, we talk every day, we chat every day, we go through, what's bothering you, to, okay, let's fix, let's train, let's incorporate nutrition, let's incorporate the training techniques. And it's so much feedback, that sometimes it's like you bound, you bound completely with that person, because now you're not just about, it's just not about the training anymore, it's about the lifestyle of the person, and that's what motivates me so much to try to grow and to try to expand the business, because I really have the feeling of, I like to serve, I like to help, but sometimes is, I am just one person, as a one person of the business, and hire more people to do the same thing sometimes is difficult. We have challenge trying to hire the same type of professionals, to having the same mindset that we have, and also to work at the same level. But mostly, like, sometimes I think, okay, what can I do that I will be able to achieve more people, reach more, help more people all at once? There is a lot of systems, sometimes applications and things that we can do, but even then, you have barriers, how to achieve, how to be able to pay for all those tools and even work source to be able to accomplish those goals. My mainly is that.
It's interesting because I think your two topics are perhaps even in conflict with each other. Like the first one is, how do I serve more people? Possibly. I know there was like, how do I serve better? But if it's like this one-to-one relationship where you're really, I mean, that makes the scalability very difficult, because that close connection. So I mean, my first question would be like, it sounds like this is a boutique model, right? Like you are high service, low volume, and there's a max to that. So I don't know if there's like a personal satisfaction in that model, or if you're hoping to grow and scale and have. I guess that's my question.
It's the two things, right? I would like to be able to grow and scale, but at the same time maintaining the great service that I like to have. And sometimes that can be challenged, that can be difficult to achieve both at the same time, because you have to think because you have to think on quality. Sometimes you grow so much and quality sometimes goes down, and that's one thing that I try not to allow that to happen as far as quality, because you're growing so much, quality will deceive how much people you can serve. To me, I think quality is the best. The better quality, the better service you have. So it's not, but I totally understand your point on, it defeats a little bit of how to scale, when you have too much quality and you want it to stay concise. It fights again the probability of growth sometimes. I'm trying to accomplish both. That's a challenge for you guys.
I think you can accomplish both. I just, it's just going to be maybe a different model to it. The first part is what you're doing. Part of it is science, part of it is art, right? So the science is easily replicatable. This is the formula of, nutrition or whatever else may be on the scientific side of what you're doing. The art form, which is not scalable, is when you're looking at somebody saying, well, your form is off, and all of those, really insightful feedback that you can provide based on how somebody's performing. I think, what I see for you as a means of reaching more people is keeping your boutique business, and then potentially having a social media platform where you're reaching much broader audiences, where you're talking about the benefits of nutrition, because there's so much noise in that space that it's really
Yes.
hard to get that authentic feedback from someone like yourself that, this is your lifestyle. I would much rather hear from you what I should be doing, what I should be eating, how I should be stretching in the morning, or what else, rather than, a random TikTok video. So I think there's a great opportunity for you to have a social media platform to be able to reach a much larger audience, and then keep and maintain. Because as Sara pointed out, it's not possible. You're limited by, your scalability is limited to you unless you can replicate yourself. And that's a different conversation.
What do you think about like an app mic instead of, or a website or something, not just social media, but more like individualized, but through a system?
Yeah, and they exist, right? So he could certainly start, doing training for people in California or like all over the world. If we're limited to, if your market locally doesn't have the capacity to grow, but I think the highest and best use is going to be your local market. If you've absorbed all the clients you can in your local market, then 100% going to an app platform. But I think that I don't know, from what I'm seeing, and again, we've only met a couple of minutes, is keep that core business really tight to the chest, because that's at the heartbeat of what you're doing. But you have great information that should be shared with the world, and there's no better platform than social media to be able to share that with.
Mm-hmm.
But the real solution you came up with was to clone him. I just want to.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure that was stated overtly. Okay. No,
we're going to one, and we need one to Sarasota, by the way.
Yeah, no kidding. Mike hates working out, so you would do him.
That would be great. Yeah.
That would be. Okay, so David, I have a question in trying to answer this.
Ma'am.
Where do you find your best clients? Like, how do they get to you? How do they find you?
98% word of mouth. It's clients referring new people, clients referring new customers. Sometimes, a friend that has a great experience with me refer me to the mom or to the sister, to the husband. And it's a very unique way. And I love it because I have a family that I train: the daughter, the husband, the mother, and the kids. So technically, in one household, here I am working with 5 people in the house, and it all comes literally. One person had an issue, started working with me. Few months later, everybody, all the friends, are noticing, wow, something's happening here, because I can see your body changing. You're getting stronger. You're feeling better. You're happier. What's going on? And, well, I've been training with David for the past 6-7 months, and the best decision I did. And out of a sudden I get a phone call. Hey, I need to talk to you. And that becomes a consultation, an evaluation. And then out of a sudden I got a new client. So that has been pretty much my model of work through these years. A lot of referral. And I work with some of the doctors, Mayo Clinic, Baptist South. So I work with a lot of physical therapists. So usually, whether I get clients from my clients and friends and family, and also from, the medical field, physical therapy, orthopedic, I get a lot of referrals from those doctors as well, sending me people from, post back surgery or have a neck issue or sometimes have a knee surgery. And I help them because what happens today, the medical industry, what's happened on that is you have a surgery, then you have a physical therapy, and they stop that protocol right there. Oh, you're good, you're released from your 6-8 weeks physical therapy, but they don't do the reintegration of getting somebody that, can be an athlete or can be just somebody normal that had a health fitness lifestyle, and they don't integrate teaching that person how to integrate back into fitness. And usually that little gap, somebody tries to go back to fitness too soon, and usually they injury what they just went to a 6-8 weeks for rehabilitation, and that's the between gap that usually I come in, I get the person, I do all the protocols from getting from physical therapy to a health fitness back again, and that's when we move the needle going up, getting better, feeling better, back to normal fitness levels and all that kind of stuff. So I do that a lot. I work with a lot of people that way as well.
It seems like with the quality, like the quality is high, the quantity has to be low, so the price has to be high. I mean, I would just say, like, from a business perspective, except for me, I think you should raise your prices. I knew Mike would laugh. But I am being serious because, I mean, there's like this, there's a scarcity model that you have. And I do want to talk about bringing in and building a team because I do have an idea for you there. But I would say, I think obviously you can't price yourself out, so the market can't absorb it. But we live, in an area, this Ponte Vedra Beach area and some of the surrounding areas. There are a lot of folks that have disposable income. They have the, I would say, good wealth. I mean, a lot of folks, they have their second homes here and things. So I'm just thinking, it makes me like your prices probably need to be high.
Okay.
And maybe pick up, being able to pick up billing insurance or some of the other programs. I don't know what certifications are for that. But there's certainly, how much capacity do you have at the moment? So, could you take on another 50 clients, or are you looking for 1 or 2, or what's your capacity?
Well, right now I'm changing a little bit. I'm adding some different services, and I'm gonna start doing it through an app. So I'm gonna be launching my app, my fitness app, which is going to allow me to do more also the online coaching. So, because right now I do have online clients. I have clients that live Miami, New York City, Georgia, Atlanta, Tampa. That is some of the clients that I work with, bodybuilding competitions. I do those preps as well. So usually those clients I do it remotely. With the app, launching my new app is going to help me to be able to coach them on more real time, more interaction one-on-one. The only thing is the physical part of it. It's me coming to the person and training them. I'm only able to do this locally here in Jacksonville. For the other people that I'm reaching on a higher scale, those clients, usually I'm doing the online coaching, and they love the service, what I have to offer. It comes down to strength training, nutrition, weight loss program. I continue doing the same. It's only matter, can the client do the things just by receiving the tools, which is having that full loaded app with all the information, and can they apply those techniques and everything. Some people love it, and some people that is not so, how can I say, that is two different types of clients for that type of model. That is people that is more, no, I like you to push me so I can do it. No, the accountability of, no, I like the trainer to push me. And I have other people that actually they love the model of online coaching, because I have all the information on my phone. I can go any time of the day. I can just look, everything is there. My program is there. My nutrition is there. If I need David, I can just message. I can, it's everything in real time. As far as communication, there is videos, they can chat with me in the video. They can have a consultation. They can just ask me a question. So we have a great interaction as far as this, but that is two types of clients for that. That is clients that love the online, and that is clients that they don't do so well with online. They prefer the interaction one-on-one.
That's exciting that you've got the app going. I mean, that I believe will add some scalability and some accessibility. I mean, even I was thinking about, the fact that I travel quite a bit. I mean, being able to do, things from the road. I mean, that allows for a more.
It allows you to continue exercising and following up the program, everything. Mm-hmm.
That's right.
I'm just curious, what are your takes on the pizza that Sara intakes when she's traveling? Because there have been a couple of mentions.
Mike, you're not supposed to tell David. He's not supposed to know.
I'm gonna make all those notes.
Oh dear. No, Mike and I actually both consume a lot of pizza, and we actually have kind of a pizza challenge going on where we go around to different cities and we're testing different pizza. Nothing has beat Trasca yet, but we're on the lookout.
Absolutely not.
So, okay. So what does your future vision look like?
I'm expecting a good growth this upcoming years, especially like interacting more, with the online coaching, being able to spend, but also creating different courses. I'm looking to implementing things like this as well.
That's great.
So
that's really great. One idea on the courses is just like, things that are perhaps fit for different sections of life, right? Like coming back from, I remember I had to seek out a trainer, and I'd shared this with you after I had my kids. I was like, all right, back to being an athletic person. Like I was, I'm done having children. I want to, and that was a moment for me. But again, like most women who have children, that is a moment. So you could also focus on, teens coming up on, college athletic careers or whatever.
Yes.
So I like that a lot. The online component as well. I mean, there are a lot of, elderly folks that could really benefit from some really good online courses that, were able to be done at home, whether they're in a, independent living situation or assisted living or whatever it is. But that seems like, and I kind of remember my grandmother doing that at one point. And so that's great. Yeah. Let's see. I had another question. Now I forgot it. What about, I mean, are you doing anything with the military component, your connection there, like ROTC training? Or
2 years ago, right before COVID, I was actually training few FBI agents for their prep. I still work with some of them. I do also help the folks on the military with their part of their endurance, their strength, especially when they have to do their PT every 6 months or so. Usually, if they don't pass, they have one chance. And if they don't pass a night, usually they're pushed to the reserves or they get kicked out sometimes, depending on the situation. They lose some of their benefits. That is a little bit of a complication there. And because I know some of the people in town, I was able to actually work with some people in that situation of, okay, let's get your program here. Let's see what is the default, what's going on that you're not able to, to succeed in your tests. And we worked through that, for like few months, and they were actually able to go back, retest it, and they were just fine. With special operations as well, people from FBI and things like this, usually they have to be in the top level of endurance and strength training because, depending on operations and things like that, you have technically, you look this way, you have to be able to battle. You have to be on top mentally and physically. You have to be sharp. So I have a program for that as well.
I think just a couple of verticals is focusing on different sports. Whether you're playing golf, there's certain muscles you're using, flexibility.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I know motorcycle riding is a big one. There's just focusing on people that are trying to do a specific, whether it's tennis or this or that. These are the exercises and the muscle groups that'll work. So with your sports background, having those specialized might also be a nice little niche market.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was also thinking first responders. Like I remember a very close friend of mine became a firefighter, and she had to go through an immense amount of training and had to do a lot of things. So I know she trained quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's see, keeping you up at night, better service. That's where I wanted to go back to. I'm just sort of curious. I know Mike has studied a lot of some of the best service providers in the world, including Disney, Ritz-Carlton, Trasca.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, on that front, one of the biggest components for me is empathy, right? And having the empathy to know what someone will need before they even know that they need it.
Yes.
And so I feel like as you grow, as you continue to service folks, I mean, it's also teaching your team what is going to be a possible kind of anticipating those possible needs, anticipating kind of what someone may need. And I would say serving that, with the kind of heart that you're talking about as if they were your family member. So, I mean, I think that to me is best built through kind of defining your core values. So what is, what does mind, body, empire embody? Like, what are the components? And then as you find people, you are making sure that they match up to that, because then they will come with the same kind of ethos that you have, brought as you built the business. So that was just one thought for you. We work with a lot of clients to make sure that they've got those pinpointed, that they're accurate, that they know exactly what types of behaviors come to life when those are true.
Yeah, and I think what you find is it's usually something that you're fixing in a business, at least from my personal experience in owning companies. It's you're going backwards and reinventing instead of doing it on the front end. So if you can, start with your core values and lining up those people, you'll miss that I have to go back and fix it later step.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I know you've brought on a bunch of coaches in the past and had trouble with that. So I think, it's like really having a good, thorough investigation process of their kind of in the interviewing kind of sessions. Are they doing the behaviors that match up with those core values so that you can make sure they're going to be a good fit for the long term? Not just the technical expertise, but the cultural.
Absolutely.
How much of what you're doing, again, I have limited experience in your industry, but how much of what you're doing is really highly specific to your eye? You're watching somebody's form. I know that there's like, hey, this is the exercise, this is what you should be eating. But as somebody's working out, when you're watching them, like, hey, I noticed that you're leaning on your right foot a little bit more, and maybe we need to strengthen this muscle. And I feel like that's the area where scalability would really be tricky because you're going to pick up something that, CRI or, as trainers may not.
Yeah. Mostly the times, usually it comes to that sometimes, I am very truly when I'm training somebody, the techniques, the form, I try to go very, very specific to things. And unfortunately, if you, it depends. It really depends when you're working with a group of other coaches and trainers. You can have a totally different situation happening in the same room. This happens a lot. Like if you go to a gym, if you observe how trainers work, you probably be able to notice that one or two trainers, they're really, really focus on the client, what they're doing, how they're moving, how they're lifting, their posture, and something like this. And if you scare the room around, you're going to see the other people, they're looking into the ceiling as the client is lifting. So they'll not really pay attention to the client. They're just wondering what's happening in the room. And that is something that, to me, it's a serious issue because it only sometimes needs one mistake for you to injure yourself or do something wrong. And that's where sometimes when I mentioned in the beginning, like, there is some clients that you can apply the online coaching that because they have a good form, they know how to work out, and it's easily to coach. And you have other clients that sometimes they have a good form, they know how to work out, but they prefer that really individual attention with them through the exercise, fixing stuff, motivating, talking, making sure you push them, you measure things, you level up the training. That's usually sometimes a little bit where it comes to definition of, okay, are you only doing online coaching because you only want to scale the business? Because I could just say, okay, I just want to scale the business, and let's just do online coaching, and you can get clients coming from everywhere. Great. How much of those clients they're really getting the success that you want them to have? And how to really make sure that they're not injury, they're feeling well, they're having good progression. It's kind of like you mentioned, you can have a little bit of a little issue in the lower back, or have some sort of lordosis, or have one hip that's a little bit unlevel. That is things that you can only measure through real time when the person's in the front of you, not through an app sometimes.
So, I mean, this is a great philosophical debate because it's the quality versus quantity. And, I just had an idea that I'd never thought about before, but have you ever thought to expand your business into coaching coaches? So it's basically like if you're the gold standard for high quality care or high quality coaching, would you ever set up almost like a master class or a way to coach coaches? Because I know there are certifications that you have,
yes.
But I think if I'm understanding correctly, anybody who feels like they could train someone else can just say like, oh, let's go to the gym and now I'm your personal trainer. So I would say you may have the ability to kind of like get the cream of the crop students and then help to increase the quality of training for everybody by coaching them.
That's another way too. I never thought about, well, I did thought about that in the past, but it's almost like it's not so much of my real passion of teaching the coaches, but actually having the work with the clients.
Right.
I don't know if it makes sense, but it's more like I enjoy it more working directly with the clients, because the clients is the one that really needs me for their purpose, right? What they wanted to get better. The coaches, the other trainers, it's more an aspect of, okay, I'm already trainer and I'm already doing this for 5 years or so. I'm coming to you to just almost like a mentoring, like
Yep.
I want to get some tips, a little bit more knowledge, learn from you. And I have done this like even on a free way, like not as a course. I have a lot of coaches and trainers that have come to me several times, to just kind of like, hey, can I work with you through some sessions just to see, picking up your brain, to see your techniques, see the things that you do, how you apply, how you interact with clients, because they see, wow, you have a lot of clients who are successful in what you do. Do you mind me kind of hang with you for a little bit, because I would like to learn some. And I have done several like that, where I'm just like, okay, let's go with me on the road for 3 days, and I'll introduce you to my clients, and you're going to be like my assistant. So you're going to help me through the training, and then you pick it up a little bit and you can see how we train. And they love it, but I never put that into, oh, I'm going to do a master class, or I'm actually going to charge them to do that. I have never thought about that.
Well, because I was thinking there could even be a certification, like a Mind Body Empire certification. And so, if you get to a place where you are the gold standard, then people can say, I've trained at Mind Body Empire. I mean, it's like a chef training. Again, like you can go and be the chef at any restaurant if you say you're the chef, but to have actual training from a great school under a great teacher and master, it's just a different caliber.
Yeah.
I had another idea.
That involves a lot of license. That's the only thing that I kind of stay away from a little bit, just because of that spec point. You have to go back, you have to change some license, you have to put processes in places.
Got it.
Formulate classes and work hours, certifications. It's a little bit more legwork on it. That's why I'm like, okay, I don't want to do that, because it's kind of like, it's a lot more work than it sounds. But it will be definitely a great opportunity to spend that way as well. But I think it's just like, I don't know how much I would enjoy doing that. Versus working with the clients in general.
I don't want to miss the opportunity, Mike, if you want to jump in on this, but I have another idea that takes us on a different path.
God, I'll let you lead us down the path.
Okay. So I was thinking about the inefficiency of you being in your car and coming to your clients. Have you thought about having your clients come to you, like at a gym or a centralized location?
Well, back in 2015, it was supposed to happen where, Edsel Bittencourt, we had this plan that we are creating a boutique service where we're gonna to incorporate the medical field, as far as you having your primary care, and you have a place to do your blood work, and you can have your doctor right there. And we're going to have all this in-house. So it will be a gym, like a boutique style, with medical facility connected to it, a massage place connected to it, physical therapy. So it will be one-stop shopping for the technically everything that you need for your body to make you feel well. Well, COVID hit, and that's when the whole plan changed at that time, because it was at the time we have some investors that were really interested. They really liked the idea of what we were presenting. We had like 5 people that were really loving the ideas. We did like a plan, we did a business plan and everything. And unfortunately, due to the situation with COVID, and we were on the lockdowns with the gym, medical facilities, they had the big dip with COVID as well. The whole plan changed. And once things kind of get back to normal, everybody was already like, well, now we are kind of afraid of putting all the money into this, afraid that we might have a new wave of COVID or something, and we're going to be locked into this investment. So some of the investors, they pull back and change their mind and invest their money in different things. And then we kind of left at that at the time, but that was something, that we would definitely with idea of making like a nice concise gym with all the services in house. And then after that, it kind of never got
Sure.
to the new opportunity to like, okay, let's make this happen. Let's make a new one.
Got it.
But I would love, yeah, I totally get what you say with the time, because, I go back and forth all over the place. So if I have to take all the hours that I drive through the day and just cut it off there and just see people one place, absolutely, that would be a lot better.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think, on that topic, if you don't have to, sometimes people have a tendency to overbuild something. I think for what you're doing, you need rather small, modest space. It could just be a 1,000 square foot with your basic equipment. Obviously, if you could travel around with it, you can have a small spot to do it in. So it doesn't have to be this multi-million-dollar gym build out.
Yeah, that is another thing too, because it requires, depending on the size of the facility, it requires so much money. You're talking money to rent, equipment, maintenance, employees. It's so much overhead. And then it goes out to the other model, the brick and mortar, where okay, now this is a gym with a membership. It's not a one-on-one coaching facility. It becomes a membership type of thing. So again, you dropping the quality, because now it's just a regular gym. You just go get your membership, and the people that go there, they just go for their regular workout routine. It won't be as much as that one-on-one attention and special service. That's why we are trying not to go on that direction, because then you have all the other big dogs to compare with them. You have so many gyms around town. We are trying to kind of pull away from there, make it more where it's like a boutique service. You have your personal training, you have your doctor, you have where you could get, the infusions for your vitamins, so it was a very type of structure thing.
I still think that's kind of smart. But yeah.
We did a plan and it was really, really good. It unfortunately, it was a sad situation during COVID that we have to everybody had to pull back from that.
Right.
I still think doing it even smaller than that, where you just have a really, a 500 square foot, 1,000 square foot space could be second floor of a strip plaza somewhere, and you could really pick up the efficiency of being able to fill 8 hours of your day instead of driving to your clients. If you could find a centralized location and open a little small boutique spot, focus just on you. If the proof of concept works, then maybe we expand out and start bringing in, the med spa or whatever else you're bringing to it.
Okay. Thanks for the tip.
Great. I hope this has been helpful to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I got a lot of good questions and information, so we need to a little time to digest those things, and definitely I'll make some spreadsheet here to start figuring out some of those things.
All the ideas.
Plus you know that Sara eats pizza when she's traveling, so you can adjust the workouts accordingly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
I that was one of my first notes here.
Yeah. Very funny, everybody. I do love pizza.
Well, and she did say something about her workouts being really easy. I don't know why she always says that.
I know that would come at some point.
Actually, I was on stage doing a keynote not long ago, and I do Q&A at the end for some of them, and the lady raised her hand and said, "How do we get your arm workout?" So that was cute.
That's fantastic. That's awesome.
So there you go. Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
For being
thank you, guys. I appreciate
show.
it.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Truly. I'll see you tomorrow. But
Yes,
also, thank you. And really and truly, I mean, you have built an incredible system for me. I know you do a lot of great work for a lot of people in our community. And I'm hopeful that some of these ideas will help you to serve more, better, higher quality, but also make it meaningful for you. So
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Good.
I appreciate
Good.
it.
David, very nice
You,
meeting
Mike.
you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Take care.
Thank you, guys, for the
Ciao.
opportunity.
Bye, David.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Ciao, ciao.
Mike.
Thank
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Level Up Your Business with me, Sara Frasca. If you have a problem in your business that's keeping you up at night, please join us in a future episode so we can help get you unstuck. Just click in the link in the show notes and send us a message. Please remember, stay innovative, friends.